Hello. So I decided, since I was being called to talk about my personal core pain, as I've processed it to the point of releasal, I am going to speak about it because the ways that I've been standing in my power post is really important. I had a very intense emotional experience through another person. And by experiencing those things in a place where I was extremely dysregulated, my nervous system, everything was very imbalanced and um, frenzied, very frazzled all the time. It was more so being around this person was such an overstimulant that I wasn't able to purely experience them as a person past my own responses. So obviously the perception of them was very much evident that it was just my own projections. And I had eventually put myself in a place where I was trying my best at least. I feel like I did, but I guess it could have been perceived in a different way. So we're just going to stick with what I perceived I did, was keeping things extremely professional around them, only talking about the professional aspects of how we were connected in a workplace. And it allowed me to really understand what it feels like to be physically attracted to someone, but understanding that I'm not in a place to actually act upon that. Also, in terms of consent and reciprocation, it wasn't very much there anyways, but it's a really important part for me to experience that pain, because I despaired for a while from not having the privilege to experience them person in front of person, and I wasn't able to connect with them in the ways that I wished to. And it also was very evident that I wasn't going to. I think the most important part about releasing the aspects of this illusion of a person, right? Because it's like I don't actually know them. So that's why I always wanted and made an attempt to try and communicate with them and be within their space so I could attempt to see them more clearly for who they are, not how I perceive them to be. And so, especially with that though, it's like even as I experienced them, it was a very pure essence of joy and peace and love, and it brought a lot of those things into my life. And so that's why when I became aware of the unconsensual aspects of it, like making them uncomfortable or not being professional and having my own personal experiences around them, I was like, this isn't healthy. This isn't healthy, not only for me, but towards this person. Like, I shouldn't, like, if they are not open to experiencing what I have perceived or received, it's not my place to try and have them partake in it. You know what I mean? Like, it's such an interesting concept, because those pure core emotions and good intentions I will not apologize for, because I will not invalidate that experience. I will apologize for my actions and how I communicated, because that was very much unaligned with who I was and how I really felt. But I felt like I was putting myself in a place where I didn't feel like I had much of a choice. And it is important thereafter, being alone, being with friends, being in a community that welcomed me no matter what part I showed, it actually presented how deeply I felt towards this person. And so how did I detach from that? I understood that that experience had nothing to do with them. It was simply my own response and therefore my own decision to acknowledge these things about myself, and then therefore giving that experience back to myself, being within that pure joy, pure peace, pure love, and experiencing that within this whole is truly what allowed me to detach. The ending of attaching the experience to the physical entity and understanding that the souls are there, the soul connection between this physical entity and my soul was very much not being acknowledged or witnessed or actualized and present in. And so that's why it's important to, even with that passionate feeling, even with that passion, it's integral to have that powerful experience with the self first, because it's just so pure, it's so precious, it's so prevalent, and to project that onto another person is a lot. It's a lot of pressure. And I mean this in a way where it's not pressure to move or anything. It's literally the word pressure, pressurized. It's so dense, and yet it's so within and without. And that's what I've been learning. Like my cups have spilled, you know. I have the 5 of Cups here, and it's Mars and Scorpio energy, and I'm like, yeah, like my intensity is not meant for everyone. So yes, I do have to let the spilled milk be spilled, because if it's something that I'm actually going to like be ashamed of, or it's such a ridiculous thing, because I'm not embarrassed. It's more of like, I understand my foolishness. I understand my foolishness to literally such a high degree where I'm just like, oh, that's my feminine divine energy, where it's like anything is possible, and I'm like, oh, Jesus fuck. So I actually really had to learn. I had to really learn this lesson again. This is my karmic cycle, because I wasn't making a different choice every single time this would happen to me. I was making the same choices over and over again, and I was being persistent. So I really needed a good old like right to the face, because I was just like, okay, yeah, you're right though. Like I wasn't seeing clearly, and that is why I have to be accountable. That's why I wanted to apologize, because I was just like, I'm sorry, I lied. I literally didn't realize that I had such deep emotions for you and that they were real. I thought it was like a childish, like, camp crush, and then it just turned into this completely chaotic thing. No. No, actually, it is pure love, peace, and joy. And I have to intentionalize that with myself corely, so that I'm consistently not attaching it to the person. Because yes, I was able to experience so many different things just by their presence, that I didn't need anything else. Like, it was also not what I wanted, even though yes, there was a desire and there is attraction, but I was like, I can't even stand close to this person. Like, what am I talking about? It took a lot of fucking up, honestly, failures, making mistakes, whatever you want to call it. Because in reality, I was like, I need to learn something here. I really need to learn something here. And how I've been protecting my peace, protecting my love, protecting my joy, it is to unattach it. It is to be present within the self and allow the, honestly, the duplicities of things, the dualities of things to just present itself. And karma's a motherfucker, so watch the fuck out, because genuinely, oh my gosh, it is so evident that this has been accumulating. And yeah, I really, like, every person has their own personal experience, right? Like interpersonal, in like integrating shit and then allowing that integration to like present the intentionality of things and also the proactiveness and how it's present in your life. But if I could truly present myself the purity of those emotions, I really don't need anything else. And I've learned that, I've felt that, and I've been doing that. And I continue to do that. Yes, I've been facing a lot of different things back in this home space, even in my room. And I'm like, I've changed. I've changed for the better because I continue to get better and better, and I want to do better and better, and I do better and better. And that is why I am proactive, and I will not continue. I can't continue in that way. Like, I literally can't anymore, because I'm just like, no, ego, we're not going to speak about myself like that, because we're not in control, but we can choose things. We have a choice. That is all that we can truly control, is the choice. So what are you going to choose with me? I'm literally like, I can't play this toxic cycle over and over again, that I'm undeserving, too much, I'm too intense, like all these personal attacks, as if being intense and sensing and empathic is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. And I'm realizing that the ways that I've been raised and thinking about how I speak to myself and how those ways have been so pressurized in a way where I'm pushing myself to be a person that I'm not. And so I was, especially these last few days, like this week, of just like, I don't know, I've just been indulging a lot, and like usually I'm not like that, is what I've seen. And I was like, why is that? Why did I prevent myself from experiencing this? Like, I know it's like, it does weigh me down in a way where I'm like, this, I can't continue to live like this. It's actually not aligned with who I really am. But I was also like being compassionate and kind to myself, like especially with struggling with an ED and stuff like that. Like, it's important, because I have to perceive this process in a different way so that I can support myself. So yeah, it's a really cool, interesting experience, because when this person had texted me recently, I really saw and heard what they were speaking about, and I also wasn't taking it personal, and I wasn't reacting, and I understood I needed space to respond before, and I was just like, my intention was to apologize, because I could tell that my personal experience was bleeding out in a way that could be perceived as a negative thing. And so, or maybe even just a resisted thing, I don't know. But it was just like, that's why I wanted to make it clear, like, I can't be around you without it being personal for me. And that's why I eventually was trying to avoid those situations, but also trying to practice professionalism, and yet at the same time the personal emotions just would bleed out. And I was just like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this to myself, and I can't do this to this person. But it was actually like, I couldn't help it, and it was so annoying, because I was just like, I would just like pass them by, and I'll be like, wow, of course, during this point in time when I'm in this presence right now. And like, it's just really being proactive about not putting myself down for how I was in the past, and yet at the same time taking accountability and being like, you're right. You're actually fucking right, and I'm sorry for making you uncomfortable, or I'm sorry that the ways that I was caused a negative experience in any way that was not my intention at all. And I wanted to be accountable, but it's the past, you know? Like, I'm here in this place right now, experiencing these things. I just have to acknowledge that there was pain. There was a lot of pain, and I had to speak my part because that's just what I experienced. As a person, I was like, damn, like, I don't feel like a person right now, and that's not okay with me. And so speaking up and expressing myself is very important for me, because I'm just like, it's not your responsibility. My pain is my pain, you know? Like, it's literally stuff that I have to process from years of conditioning and dysregulation and toxic and triggering, like, trauma responses, reactiveness. Like, I have to take responsibility for that shit. My physical dysregulation and the PTSD after having a physical attack, like, I have to actually take responsibility for this shit. So that is why I try my best to be accountable in personal relationships, because it affects me. It's affecting me. And that's why I'm processing my healing and making points to myself and being proud of my progress, because man, I've just been putting myself in so many different situations. So coming back here and experiencing this level of peace in a different point in time within this person is like, oh my god, so much, like, it's so much less ego, so much less fear. And I feel like, yeah, finally I feel like going to the gym today, thank god. Like, I've just been like so still here. And I have been so active these past 3 months that I'm like, this actually makes so much sense. And so yeah, that's how I've been processing this experience of pain, and not personalizing it and attaching it to a person. And that's just how I am. My one thing, I don't need other people's perceptions on my own experience, because I know myself. That's all I need. I just need to know myself. I don't need to prove anything. I don't need to have my point understood. And I mean this in a way now, at this point in time in my journey, is because I'm taking responsibility for it. Only I can. So any point in time where I've expressed pain, like, my friend was worried for me, because she was just like, let's not talk to this person anymore. And I was like, I actually did. And she was just like, Kai, like, what? And I was like, don't worry, like, I understand, but I had to say my part. My pain is valid, but it has nothing to do with them, the person. It's a different perspective. It's a different experience entirely. So to explain how their actions affected me, how would they have known if I didn't say anything? They would have never known. Maybe they would have predicted it. I don't know their part. I don't know their side. I don't know their perspective. Like, my thing is speaking up for myself, because only I, the person, can do that. Word of mouth, different perspectives are so instantaneous. To try and understand a person through another person is not the way to go. I'm sorry. Like, it's just so different already, because what you perceive in that person will be different. So it's like what you're picking up on versus what your, like, other collectives, interpersonal relations that speak about this person pick up on, completely different. That's why during camp I, like, really didn't like the word of mouth. I was like, oh, but it's missing certain points that I should have. Either way, I'm not actually pressed about that. It's more of like how perpetuated it is to keep talking about it, but not to the person. That's the shit that I can't fucking accept in my life. I'm like, no, if you have a problem with me, come to me. We can talk about this. I'm the type of person where we can have a conversation about it. Yeah, maybe I will get triggered, but I'm not going to project that onto you. I'm going to acknowledge that. I'm going to let you know, hey, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm willing to challenge that comfort zone right now. So just please be patient with me, because I'm applying pressure to myself and I'm doing it in a healthy manner. Just understand that my reactivity might be in there, because I'm like, why wait until I'm complete? There's no such thing as complete. There's no such thing. Like, literally, the cycles are constantly playing out. And yes, when we make a different choice, then the cycle changes. It doesn't complete itself, it changes. It's always completing itself. It will always complete itself as we consistently show up, because we're alive. That is the completion. Going to bed, waking up, going to bed, waking up, because it's a choice to rest. It's a choice to rest. That is the completion, to relax, to fucking relax, because it's just so important, god damn it, where I'm just like, I will do it afraid, I will do it uncomfortable, but I will not do it when I'm not feeling safe. If I can't be emotionally safe, why would I say how I feel? Like, what the fuck? If I can't, like, that's the one thing. I'm just like, I have to be able to discern this as my person is developing. I am perceiving how much capacity I have to be in different environments and different conversations without taking shit personal, and continue things and taking up space, but also allowing my presence to speak without words and like everything. I'm constantly trying to implement these things proactively so that I can learn how I can have different conversations, how I can elevate the conversation, how we can reach different perspectives and points and not take it personal, so that we can understand to the best of our abilities from our own perspective, without the cloud, without the blockages, without the resistance, and without the clenching and the tenseness and the, you know, like, I'm capable of that. I understand that. Of course I get triggered. I'm a conditioned being, okay? I have generational curses to break still. So, yeah. Thank you for listening, because it's like, I swear this is going to reach the right people, because I'm just like, I feel you. I feel you. I know the pain is so fucking excruciating, but guess what? That pain is so fucking powerful. That's how powerful it is to feel so much for a person, even if they have no understanding as to why. They don't need to know. You just need to know. And that's what's so beautiful and precious about it. So, cheers to us on our spiritual journeys. The body, mind, heart, the soul. Because, oh man, we'd be doing our best. Not even trying, we're actually doing our very best. So yeah, we adjust. Because we know we deserve better. We know we could do better. It's so obvious. We've gotten here, haven't we? We've improved. Like, why discredit that? Anyways, sending love once again.